I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about, did you both dump each other? So one of the things that I see sometimes after a breakup is you guys wondering who broke up with who. Sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes something happens like an argument where you just stop talking. Sometimes one person says they want to break up, and then you hear from them a few months later and they're like, well, you're the one that broke up with me, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what happened. I don't see it that way at all. So these things do happen, and it can be really confusing because you're trying to figure out, wait a minute, what just happened here? Are we broken up? Or did they end it when they said this? Or there's a lot of ambiguity there. So you might be wondering who actually ended things, and as if a breakup wasn't confusing enough, not knowing who the dumper is could make it feel a lot worse, because then you're like, well, should I be reaching out to them? Should I break no contact if I'm the dumper? But, obviously every situation can be different and unique, but I have a good video today that I think is going to help you if you're feeling like that, because sometimes there are like little subtle signs that will come out or things that are said that you could look at and it will give you an idea. But sometimes the who dumped who label isn't clear, and it just feels like you're in the waiting area, you're stuck in the mud, you're just trying to walk around in this muddy swamp, like wandering around lost, like, what happened here? How did I get here? What do I do? Where am I going? So figuring that out can be tough, and this is a good video that can help you see some of the things that you might have in the situation like this. And this is actually a follow-up from the Kenneth show. Okay, so this is a caller that you heard on the Kenneth show. Her name was Naomi, and the title of that episode was, My Girlfriend Doesn't Want Intimacy. Okay, now, I had known this caller. We had done coachings before, and she's done a lot of work over the years on herself. And a lot of people kind of got on her at the comments, attacking her because her girlfriend has some health issues that she didn't want to have sex. And a lot of people started attacking her. Well, I've been married for 38 years, and this isn't love. Okay, but I didn't think it was a fair comparison, and I felt a lot of the comments that I had seen were pretty unfair to her, because this is a young couple. This is a young woman who it's not just about the intimacy. It's about being with a person who's not making an effort, okay? If you're with a partner that has some kind of health issues and they don't want to have sex as often as you do, well, you would like to see that person as at least empathetic towards you, and that they care that you're struggling, that you're not getting your needs met, that they say to themselves, okay, even though I'm in pain often, when I'm feeling better, I should make an effort, or I should do things to try and satisfy them. It should be a reciprocal situation, not just with intimacy, but this is about being with a partner who is selfish or self-absorbed. And is it selfish for her to want to be with a partner who's intimate with her? Maybe, but is that a bad thing? Probably not, right? She's not married to this other person. And not only that, but the sacrifice to me wasn't so much that she's not getting as much sex as she wanted. It's that the partner also wasn't making an effort to meet her needs, that she was being selfish. Okay, so for those of you that were quick to judge, let's see if you see her side of things a little bit better after this video. She said, "Hi, Craig. I'm writing to follow up on the situation we discussed in our previous Skype. My partner and I are a lesbian couple in our mid-20s. We've been together for 2 years and lived together for over a year. We've had intimacy issues related to my girlfriend's health injury. Since our first conversation, my girlfriend and I have completed a total of 2 sessions of sex therapy. She told me she doesn't believe sex therapy will help and that therapy in general isn't for her." Okay, so those of you that attacked her in the first episode, what do you have to say now? Are you defending her partner who doesn't believe that therapy is going to help and it's not for her? Because at this point you should be saying, oh, you know what? It sounds like the partner is being selfish about the situation. I should go back and comment to each of those people because I knew who this client was. I'd done a bunch of coachings with her over the year, and I know her integrity, her character. I know her desire to make relationships work. I know how hard she's worked, and I didn't think she was being fairly treated by her partner here. I didn't think she was being selfish in an unhealthy way that like the people that were attacking her were. She also shared that she can't commit to marrying me because of the uncertainty surrounding her injury. Okay, now this is what the ex said to her. They broke up. I might as well say that now. They broke up. We're going to hear about that though. She feels she can't promise that it won't reach a point where sex stops completely and that she would never want an open relationship. Okay, so what do you guys think? Is her partner being selfish now? Because it seems like it to me, right? She's saying she can't promise that sex won't stop and that if it does, you can't get it from anybody. I'm not going to give it to you and you can't get it from anybody. Does that sound fair to do to somebody that you are not even married to? Think about it. I tried to offer a middle ground, continuing to date for now, since we are still having some sex, with the idea that if things improve, we could consider marriage, and if they worsen, we could break up. Now that sounds fairly reasonable to me, right? We'll continue dating. I'll put myself at risk here that the sex stops, and you're going to put yourself at risk here that if you don't want it anymore, then we might wind up breaking up. So she's trying. She's wanting to see if things can improve. But what happened? She declined, saying she ultimately wants marriage and doesn't want to stay in a dating relationship endlessly. Is that the kind of person you want to be with? Somebody that has an injury, but instead of saying, I know this is difficult for you too, but I still care about your needs being met. I will do what I can, that when I am feeling better, I do want to, improve our intimacy and work on those things with you. Or somebody says, it might get worse, and then, I'm going to stop with you altogether, of course. But I don't want you to be intimate with anybody else. Okay, let's see what happened here. When I asked her where she stood in terms of our relationship, she said she was 50-50 on staying together since she loves me but knows I have grown resentful. And who wouldn't be frustrated and resentful? See, my problem isn't that her partner has an injury. Of course, it's tough for both of them. But my problem is that her partner doesn't seem to care how it's impacting her. That she doesn't seem to be trying to make any kind of effort to step it up and whatever the issue is. In this case, it happens to be sex, which is the one thing that you're supposed to really give each other only, right? In the exclusivity. You can get camaraderie, or you can get friendship, or you can get, people that you can go out and do fun things with. But with a relationship, isn't the main thing sexual exclusivity, right? I think that's what you're giving up. So if you're going to give it up for somebody, then you want to be with somebody who thinks about that and values it, in my opinion. Okay. After hearing this, I knew I was certain and initiated a breakup. She agreed and described it as mutual. But since I was the one who initiated, I believe I fall in the dumper role. This is where I think it gets murky, okay? She said that if she were to find a solution for her injury, I would be the first person she would reach out to and would want to reconcile, though I recognize nothing is guaranteed. The breakup happened sooner than expected, and for now, we're living together until I secure my job. She just graduated. I can move into my own place. This makes things complicated when it comes to no contact. I'm not sure how to apply no contact while living together. As you could see, she's worried about no contact. She doesn't really want this breakup. She wanted to stay together. She wanted to make it work and was trying to be opportunistic about it. But the other one, the partner, wouldn't agree to it and said, nope, I don't want to do that. Initially, she wanted to continue cuddling, texting daily, and being affectionate. She joked about still touching my boobs because it would make the breakup easier. I think that would make the breakup easier for anyone. Now she pulls back and avoids me more each day. She comes home late at night, and I'm talking late, like out drinking late. Normally, she sleeps at 9 p.m., is always out with friends. Normally, she's a homebody, and we barely exchange texts except for living and pet arrangements. The sudden change is confusing. So think about this, guys. Take a step back. What does that sound like to you? Who sounds like the dumper? Who sounds like they want to be in this relationship? The one that was asking for more intimacy and saying, we got to work on this, was denied, said it could get worse, and if it does, and I don't want sex anymore, sorry, I don't want you to be intimate with anybody else. So this person, the caller, says, well, you know what? I'd be willing to try and make this work and just see how this goes if it can get better. And they say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm only 50-50. But now, who's worried about no contact? Who sounds like the dumper? Who sounds like the dumpee? Right? She may have been the dumper technically, but it's kind of like her partner didn't give her a choice. Her partner basically painted her in a corner and was like, well, look, this is the way it's going to be. Be miserable, not get what you want. I'm not going to change. Might get worse. So you wonder which one cares. You guys were attacking her, but look at who's the one that cares. Look at who's worried about how to handle no contact and where the situation goes. The dumper or the dumpee? Even though, see, we have the dumper here doing it because she didn't want to do this breakup. She wanted to be with this person. She loves this person. She just wanted her partner to make more of an effort, but her partner didn't. Okay? So, let's go on here. I recognize if I tried to take her back, the breakup right now, she wouldn't agree to reconcile because the issues remain unresolved. You see, it's like she may have been the dumper, but it's not like she's the dumper. Immediately, who's going out and partying? Out all hours of the night, drinking with friends. At the same time, I don't want to slip into the friend role while living together because I don't see her as a friend. If her injury never improves, I'm okay to move on. But if it does improve, or if she were to compromise in our sex life, I would be open to reconciling since we had a healthy relationship otherwise. She did tell me she would contact me if anything changes, but I'm confused about my role as the dumper. Am I supposed to reach out first, or should I hold on what you shared on our last Zoom call, that I shouldn't reach out after the breakup to avoid rejection and ending up in the dumpy role? Well, in this situation, that is exactly what I would do. Because even though you technically dumped her, look at who has the power here. The dumpee, because she was totally fine with it. And now the dumper was only doing it because they felt like they had to. So who wants this to turn around? The dumper. Because she didn't really want to be the dumper. You see what I'm saying? But the person that was dumped here was kind of acting like the dumper by putting the dumper in a situation where they kind of had to do it. Does that make sense? You see how it can get really confusing, and especially when you're going through it, it gets even more confusing because you're so emotional. What does no contact look like in the context if you're still living together temporarily? And how do I approach the long-term thought maybe her neck will get better and the problem will resolve? Well, look, in this situation, if she wants to hang out with you and flirt and have some intimacy, whatever that may be, I would be totally fine with that. The thing is that you don't want to fall into a role where she doesn't want intimacy and she's no longer looking at you as somebody in a romantic way. If that happens, you gotta really back away and try to spend as much time away from her as possible. You don't want her to be lingering around her, acting like you're settling for friendship, acting like you're okay with just a situation where no romance is going on here. As far as the neck issue, I mean, look, even if it does get better, my problem here is not so much that she has a health problem. It's her approach in being selfish about it, where it doesn't seem like she cares about how neglected you feel. And so if it can happen with this issue, it can happen with other issues. And so that is my issue there. And so if it was me, my mindset would be, well, I can't control her or her lack of motivation or her desire to be a partner who cares about my needs. And if she doesn't want to care about my needs, then I need to go find somebody who is going to care about my needs. I mean, after all, you're committed to her. You care about her needs. You've been very thoughtful in your approach. You're not pushing for things. You've wanted to go to sex therapy. You want to go to couples therapy. And look at who's the one that doesn't. Okay, she's almost put you in a position where you have no choice but to walk away. But this is a common situation where people go through a breakup and they don't know who broke up with her. And I can understand why she's confused, because technically she is the dumper, yes. But look at who's the one that wants to repair this. The dumpee, not the dumper. So if I was in your situation, I'm going to leave her alone. If she makes an effort to spend time with me, wants to hang out and have fun and flirt, and if she wants to touch those boobs, that's up to you. I'd much rather that kind of situation than just a situation where like, no, we're just friends now. I just want to be friends. I mean, that's just brutal. You want romance. And if she's willing to give you some romance before you move out, I would. But if she's not, and she's trying to say, hey, friend, and I'd be like, hey, gotta go. But these things do get really confusing. And I'm glad she was able to send this email in, because I didn't like the comments that were directed towards her in the Craig Kenneth show video. I thought they were a little harsh and unfair, considering I know her character and I know she was trying really, really hard to make this work, and she's done a lot of work on herself. Is it selfish for just to want to be with a partner who's going to be intimate with you? I mean, they're not 40 years old with 2 kids. They're in their mid-20s, and her partner's already saying, well, it might get worse, and if it does, you can't be with anybody else forever. You guys got to think about that. Do you really want to put yourself in that situation? You have to love yourself too, okay? Love is about 2 people coming together, caring about each other's needs. It's not just unconditional towards one person where it's not being reciprocated. If the partner was more willing to meet her needs and say, look, I know this is frustrating for you. I'm going to make an effort. I do care about your needs. When I'm feeling good or I have days where I feel better, I'm going to make an effort here because I want to do that with you. That's a whole nother story. But when you have somebody, it's like her partner is avoidant. She doesn't want therapy. She doesn't want sex therapy. She doesn't want to deal with it. She doesn't want to fix things. It seems to me like the dumper in this situation is the one that's being a lot more thoughtful, considerate, and caring. So ideally, you want to be with a person who's going to be like that with you. So maybe her feeling like she's going to lose you will hit her and make her realize, I better do something here to make you happy as well. I know the relationship was good in a lot of other ways, so maybe she will realize that and do something about it. Because sometimes you just have to lose somebody to realize what you had. And maybe this dumpee here will do that, because I do think that this dumper has done a lot of work on herself, and she is genuine, and she's caring, and she's thoughtful, and she's really doing everything that she can to try and compromise. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get my help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. You can get my creative healing course and my workbooks only on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.